Oh, my day's short. I love that track. What do you think, mate? What do you think? You got the guitar, man. You tell me.
Absolutely. I was going to say, it's an absolutely banging track. I've never... Then it through these earphones, it's like, ah! Very cool, man.
You know, it gets me pumped up. I get pumped up for the show when I'm like that. It's Will Stewart chose that track. He's an absolute legend at choosing the right types of tracks for the right moods. Sean, how are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm pumped up now. Pumped up more than I was 4 minutes ago. But I was pumped up then, but now I'm sick. I want to go clubbing.
How's your day been so far? How's your day been? You had an amazing stream today, and you know it talked about the right things. You had amazing guest panels that came along, and you know what? You had a record number of people watching your show.
Yeah. It was a good stream. It was put together kind of last minute. I'm still trying to figure out the format, buddy. You know, I'm new to all this stuff, and I don't know whether having 4 people on is the right number, whether it's 8, whether it's 2. You know, I'm still kind of figuring it out because
I think what happens at the beginning is you try different things, and then you do like a reflect of your shows. You look into them a little bit detail on your own, and once you've done that, you then find the show that you think, you know what, I like doing that one, and go for the one that in your heart you like. And when you do that, then you do it more like that afterwards. But you know, my format, I've kept it very, very simple. You know, I have a co-host, which is obviously right now fantastically yourself. Spurs Talk Show. Spurs Talk Show. That's your channel. And viewers out there, if you don't know, Sean over here does a show called Spurs Talk Show. I will be chucking his link out there eventually. But for the time being, shall we step back and have a look to see who's around?
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a little wee look.
So much
you can see what's happening here, right?
That zoomed in. I feel like I can see my spots.
Do you know something? Normally, me and Eugene, right? Yeah, when we used to start the show off, we used to find out who's the first person to put a comment in. We used to have a competition with each other. Yeah. And today, I've totally lost because Eugene beat me to it.
Hi everyone, welcome to Talk2K.
Yep.
Hi Eugene.
Hi Eugene. Nice but the very first person to give a comment was actually Daryl Denton. Only a tease if we're going to sign anyone. This DSBS. I like that, DSBS. Why do we need another bloody winger? Rumors get worse every passing day. I couldn't agree with you more. Lukman is basically saying, Chris Agomba got in the first message. Really? I think I missed his message altogether. Many apologies, Chris. Mark Swift's in the house. Mark Swift, hit that like and sub. You can get your super chats in too when the show starts. Thank you. Views, you know my views on super chats. I prefer people to become members. It's cheaper for you. And really, it supports the overall channel, which is Will Stewart's THFCRants. The reason why is because I wish to support the overall channel, not just my show. And there's a lot of great things that Will Stewart has done. He's allowed a lot of people to get into the show. Sean, have you been on Will Stewart's channel before?
I haven't, mate. No, I've watched. I'm a regular viewer, but first time being invited on. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity, mate. Appreciate it.
Brilliant. Our channel is richer for you coming on. Dr. J. Cal is in the house. He's saying, hello, everyone. Hello to you as well. Tottenham Tantrum Gold. Dermot's in the house. Viewers out there, if you don't know, Tottenham Tantrum Gold do an amazing content where they look up yesteryear's football matches that Spurs, you know, the glory days, the days when we used to win things in terms of trophies, and he presents them, and we do watch-alongs, and I think it's well worthwhile pop into your channel if you possibly can. Tottenham Tantrum Gold. Big up Mr. K and Sean. Come on, you Spurs. And of course, let me out. Tony K is in the house. Mr. K, you're a legend. Obviously, he's going to get to find out you're a legend too, mate. Alex Ray's in the house. He's saying T. Thank you very much. I certainly well spotted.
Yeah.
You know, Sean's idea, he said to me, Geezer, you know what? A cup of tea will help you soothe down the nerves. Today's been one of those type of days where I think a lot of anxiety builds up inside, you know, the fans. They talk about this, they talk about that. But I like to relax with our show. Graham's in the house. Mr. K for chairman. Thank you, Graham. Is somebody going ting-ting in the background?
Oh, I'm sorry, mate. That's my phone.
Don't worry about it. It was quite nice. I thought it was the microwave. Derek Hutchins in the house. Big up Mr. K and Sean. Come on, you Spurs. Sean, Derek. You've already got a fan base, Sean. Look, I know Derek. Graham's saying hi, Sean, as well. Listen, you got a fan base already, mate. You're a very popular guy right now. Alex Ray's in the house. The ownership of this club is standing on the edge of greatness and mediocrity. It's funny how common sense isn't all that common. That's the understatement of the year. When it comes to transfers, both incoming and outgoing. Back Conte. In Conte, I friggin' trust.
Yeah.
Yeah. Johnny's in the house. Johnny's in the house. Southside Spurs. No dressing gown tonight, Mrs. K. Mrs. K's got the dressing gown, I think, tonight. She's also got the pants as well to go with it. We've got Sean Hurl in the house saying, evening geezers. He's watching this on a big, massive, big widescreen TV. I better trim properly next time. We see more details on you. But yeah, Tony K is saying big up Sean. See, Sean, you know you're already popular. Like seriously.
It's just people being polite, mate.
No, you know what it is.
I don't think it's popularity. I think it's politeness.
No, I've got a very mature type of crowd that comes in to watch my show at night in the evening, and they don't spit out compliments unless you deserve it. And you know what it is, Sean? You genuinely do have a wonderful personality about you, and you articulate really well. You're very fair in how you handle your panels, but you're very firm in where you stand as well, because you don't take fools lightly. Sean Hill is saying Diaz not happening. What do you think? What do I think? I've known this club too long, and all I know, I mean, let's face it. Did I think Berbatov was going to be sold in the last hour of the last day of the transfer window and leave us 2 points at the bottom of the Premier League? No, I didn't think Levy would do that, but he did it. And you never know. Might pull something out the bag in the last minute. Jason Groves, all the way from Nova Scotia, is saying, evening, gents. Oh, absolutely. Good evening to you, Jason. Some of the things that happened today, did you feel, Sean, that there was an awful lot of anxiety building up inside the club? Did you feel it coming from the fans, or do you think that it was irrational fears?
No, I mean, I feel like how do I say this in the most...
Spit it out. This is Talk2K. Spit it as you like.
I feel like Tottenham fans are bipolar, generally, right? I feel like the obscene highs from Wednesday night were irrational. And then the ridiculous lows of Sunday night were also irrational. And I feel like, it's the volatility in emotions based on one result being good, one result being bad, and then the focus back on gets towards anger around Levy, and I understand it. I understand how passionate people are, but I do feel like the anxiety levels at the moment are peak. They're super high, getting into the last week of the January transfer window. Nothing's been done yet. You're getting all this kind of flip-flopping from in the know journalists. I say in the know, I'll give them all a big double quotes, and I feel like it's it's not easy to be a Tottenham fan, mate. But I feel like it's not helped by journalists that have, journalists generally, and this isn't just about the football world, but journalists generally used to have a requirement to be right. Now they have a requirement to be first.
Yeah, I remember Boris Johnson was a journalist at the Telegraph. Those standards I think have been slipping for quite some time in terms of telling the truth.
Well, okay.
I think you're right.
Okay, but in terms of just, I feel like the clickbait since the days of digital advertising and ad spend and all this AdSense revenue coming through, it's all about making the headlines the most attractive, the most emotion grabbing, and anger and fear are two of the most powerful emotions. And when it comes to Tottenham fans, it's pretty easy to push buttons. So I get pissed off a little bit with. Sorry, mate. Do you feel
that there's like some years of build up and practice that the media have done, and then they're really good at it? I mean, just
they're really good at it. Yeah, they're absolutely really good at doing
it. Quickly just say hello to a few more people. Kuva is in the house. Good, nice, okay. Kuva's in the house. Good evening, all. Good morning, Sean. Carl Simpson in the house. Evening, gents. Hope you're all well. I hope you're well too. Tony Co's in the house. Tony Co. Hello, Mr. K and Sean. There you go. And Tony K is saying, you know what? Tony K is really starting to interest me in some of the stuff he's written. He goes, I think the anxiety is coming from what is at stake, possibly the difference between top four or not. Other years, maybe it's not so much significance. Now, this thing about the top four, we didn't start the season with top four aspirations. Sean, I mean, what's changed in order to get the aspiration? Is it just the fact that Conte's come in, we didn't lose a game for eight straight Premier Leagues? Yeah. Is the expectations raised now?
Yeah, well, expectations always get pushed higher especially when it's not, the floor has also fallen away, right? So all of the other clubs that we would have had imagined would be up there. If we're seventh, the teams that you'd think would be fourth, fifth, and sixth, they're not doing very well with all of the kind of team and the squad that they have. So I think it's a combination of Conte coming in, a little bit of form, and then also the other teams that we're competing with not pulling away gives us more and more reason to get hopeful. But it's the hope that kills you in the end, isn't it?
I think you talked about bipolar earlier, and I think there needs to be some sort of middle ground somewhere where we temper our expectations based upon what we understand about the squad and what we understand about football in general. Kuva saying we are on the brink of world domination on Wednesday, Sean. On Sunday we showed we're favourites for relegation. Stop with this mad level-headedness and get in line. We're Spurs.
So
look, we're not trying to bring our club down or knock it down and everything, but we should realistically look at the trend of the last few years. And, sometimes I bang on about 2015 to 2000 season, and that's normally when I'm ranting or something. But if I took the measure and I'd say, well, what the last few years, sixth is a good goal for the last few years. This season, what would you be happy with?
Well, I'd be happy with fourth. I'd be disappointed with fifth. That's the way it is, right?
So you're one of those fans then that's suddenly got, whoa, we can do it. We can win the league. This time next year we'd be millionaires.
But I take it kind of all in my stride a little bit. I don't let it bother me too much. I try and see the glass as half full. I obviously want to finish fourth. If we don't, I'll get over it, right? It's not going to destroy my summer. And I think fifth is probably fifth or sixth is about right for the quality of our squad versus the teams we're competing with. But you have to have aspirations. You have to reach for the stars and land on the moon. And if you don't, then life can be pretty boring. But I'll accept wherever it is and just hope that we have something to fight for on the last day of the season. For me, that's always fun. Is when you get to May the 15th and it's the 38th game of the season and there's still something in it. Whether you're fighting for Europa League, whether you're fighting for the Champions League. As long as you've got something in it, I pity those teams who are 13th by April and they have no reasonable ability to go down and no reasonable ability to qualify for anything, and it's just dead rubbers. For me, that would suck being a supporter of those sorts of teams.
Jamie gets in the house saying, out of respect to Mr. K's dislike of rude language, I generally have a little bit expectation of people to not use obscene languages whenever possible, because there may be younger members of the audience that might be watching, maybe with their families. And generally, I'm like that. But obviously, sometimes people can't control their language. He says, just have to say this about Sunday. Fudge, 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 fudge. Thank you, Jamie Git. Alexander Hilton's in the house. Nana Steak. I'm not too sure what that's in reference for. Alexander, you're going to have to get back to me on that. Obviously, people in here, they love to say hello to each other. And Sean Hurl is saying, I think that the appointment of Conte has raised expectations. I think initially before he came, we weren't sure what our expectations were. But when he came and started showing us results, we suddenly started to have expectations. And the window closing in less than a week is making the fan base edgy. Ooh, I felt that today. I felt that. Kuva's obviously the Steak song. I'm still not sure what the Steak song is. I'm sorry, guys. I'm very ignorant. Mark Swift saying, hit that like. And sub Mr. K is not a fan of super chats. Listen, I love super chats. I love super stickers. I just believe that when you want to grow a channel, you want to do it across the whole of the channel, not just for one show. So really, I leave it in your hands what you would like to do. And I understand that coming here and watching us is the best reward I can possibly ask for. Hitting a like, since you're here, that would be great. Subbing, if you haven't subbed, then you can once you do sub, you can actually put comments into the chat itself. Will Stewart changed that because there was an awful lot of trolls coming in from the Woolwich Club. So that's some of my explanations. Yeah. Over here, everyone's going to be saying hello to each other, and we're going to get this. Na. We all like steak. Eventually, I'm going to get this particular thing, but right now it's a blank.
I don't get it.
Right. He's a fan, Mark. Right. Will Stewart's in the house somewhere. So when someone types this out and it says Will Stewart THFC, that's not me typing it. That'll be Will typing it. So thank you very much, Will, for coming on to the show. Roger Collins, I agree with Mr. K. I'm actually amazed we are competing for top 4 when we're arguably 3 good transfer periods behind other elite teams. I think the club made attempts to try to catch up, but once you start falling behind in the transfer race with other top 6 clubs, it becomes more difficult to do so. I think we've done a very good job. Getting Conte is probably the best thing we've done. Because at least the leader of the pack is someone that we can trust. Alexander Hilton is saying, we're going to score 1 more than you, Steak. Oh, I see. That's the song where we're going to score 1 more than you.
The song, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not too sure what Mark Swift is saying, but Mark Swift, welcome to the show. Will, he's saying, Tottenham fan XD. Welcome to the show, Fox, Tottenham fan XD. Is that a Barcelona logo? I think I see in this corner there next to the Tottenham one. I think it is. Yep. Hello, lads, and hello to you as well. And you know what? We have this lovely lady that comes in from the other side of the planet, from South Korea. Love Gaguma. Talk2K. Love. Love you back. Show wouldn't be a show without you being here, Gaguma. Oh, and also Jamie Gitt and everyone else that's come here. Mark Swift, and I'm a mod. Thank you very much. You know what? There are quite a few mods in our channel, and some of them come for this show, some of them come for the other show. And I really appreciate all the mods out there. They're giving out their time, keeping an eye on the mod, keeping an eye on the chat to make sure that the other people are protected. We have to look after one another. Eka Spurs, otherwise known as JP from Tottenham Away. What's up, Mr. K? And big up Sean. Told you your favorite.
What's up,
Sean.
JP? How you doing, bro? Even
Alexander Hilton. Legend says Levy goes in a coma whenever the transfer window opens. You know what? There's many types of rumors. The older cape with the fangs and coming out of a coffin and things like that. But whatever he does, at the end of the day, he's our chairman, and I may not personally like him for one reason or another, but still being the chairman, he's got a job to do, and regardless of past experiences, if he can do a job really well for the next season or two, that'll make the world of a difference to the fan base. I'm pretty certain of it. Mark Swift, obviously going to big up the lady. Jamie Gets saying Levy the narcissist. There is some speculation that maybe Levy does like his own image, but I'm not gonna kill the people out there by showing his face all the time. I'm going to go back to that one over there. Levy the narcissist is going to have a real wake up call come Tuesday morning. Sean, I don't like the fan base to be divided, and I'm hoping and really hoping that they do all their business lastminute.com and it doesn't get really messy. I mean, obviously, all we have is hope. All we have is rumors. But in your heart of hearts, you know this board. You know Levy. You reckon, like me, he's going to pull something out? I mean, I personally reckon he's going to pull something out. But what about yourself? In your heart of hearts, what do you reckon?
Listen, I really hope he does. You know where I sit on Daniel Levy, right, with the kind of pragmatic approach to things. So I really hope that he doesn't let me down. But I don't listen. I really think that I think we'll get one in permanent, one in loan at best. I don't think we're going to do anything more than that. And I don't think it's going to make the world of difference to Tottenham's. It might appease a couple of fans. It won't appease some. It might appease a few. But I don't think it's going to make a massive difference to our fortunes into the end of the season. For Tottenham to go from wherever we are to going to top 2, Premiership title contenders, we need 8, 9, 10 players, right? To come into the squad. We need to get out a lot of players. We need to improve in most of the positions on the pitch, and then have some squad improvements in the depth for the bench. But that takes a long time. That will take 2 or 3 windows, even if you get all of the transfers that you make right. And we don't do that very often. Most of the transfers that we do make are usually bad ones. And also you have to get rid, because we've got a squad of 25 players, right? So you have to move out before you can move in. Otherwise, you end up deregistering players and having them picking up a salary for doing nothing for the next 6 months. So
Sean, what do you think over here? Sean, I mean, obviously, sorry. No, I didn't. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I wanted to move you along to Tony K's basically asking your opinion. Because I obviously, I think everyone's got the same fear, including the media. Sean, do you fear Conte will walk if he feels he's not sufficiently backed? I mean, what's your
in the
what's
summer,
contract-wise or not?
I think in the summer he might walk if there's more disappointment, but I don't think he'll walk in January or February.
No, I don't believe that's going to happen either.
But if he does, Mr. K, I feel like there is I think obviously there'll be uproar with the fans, but if he does, I also think that he'll have something to answer to, because he only signed it. Well, he only signed in November, and he already said officially that he didn't have any guarantees from Daniel Levy when he signed. So he knew what he was walking into. He knew the squad he was inheriting, and he knew who he was going to be working with. If having known all those things, he signs a 10 million, 15 million pound a year contract and then quits in January because it's in the too hard basket, I think it looks badly on him as well as it does.
I think you're absolutely right. I think basically he'll be if he's seen to be throwing his toys out the pram so early, it shows a lack of maturity and obviously a self-centeredness. Right. So I've done that. Jamie, get over here saying, we make top 4 only if we have no major injuries, which always happens, unlikely. And Man U and Arsenal do. They have squad depth, which we don't. So basically, there's an inequality of squad depth, which is the perceived. I don't think it's perceived. I think it's an actual fact. The squad depth is always going to hurt us every season. I think that season when we had Bale on the bench and other players when they were fully fit, that was probably the best time I think I saw a proper depth of squad. It was just a shame that some of them weren't up to speed and they were getting injured. But anyways, we'll quickly just move on. Shane Black's in the house. Hiya, Mr. K and Sean. Big up to everyone in the chat, especially the Empress, Gaguma. Mr. Kuva over here, Mr. K. The Steak song was born on a drunken late night on the Tottenham Tantrum Goal Show. Alex sang it for us on a very surreal and stupid evening, and we loved it like a kebab after the pub closes. Now, I did actually have a kebab after I came back the other day, and yes, so now I know, but now I need to hear it. I need to see it with my eyes. So, Kuva, if you can let me know where that is, I would like to educate myself. Obviously, Mark Swift loves Shane, of course. Gaguma, obviously, Mark Swift, I'm well, and Talk2K time. Now I feel a bit better after no signings today. Yeah, and you know what, everyone, they need to relax in the evening. Please come and talk to Kay. Let's all relax together so we can get to a peaceful conclusion of the end of the day and see what tomorrow brings. Because whenever you wake up in the morning, it's always better after a good night's sleep. And people love each other in here. They're always going to big each other up. Dr. J. Cal. Sean, are you again? Gentleman on Persuasion TV, whose name escapes me. Is it Eugene, maybe, suggested the trouble in Ukraine could result in a British seizure of assets, i.e. Chelsea, and thoughts. Are you aware of anything like that going on in Ukraine? Or should we move on from that?
Yeah, no, Russia have got 50, 60,000 troops on the border. They're going to go into they're probably going to go into the Crimea to take over the oil pipeline. Dr. J. Cal, I don't know if anything about British seizure of assets, but what I would say is I know that Joe Biden in America came out and said that if Russia do step one foot into Ukrainian territory, then they would be hit with swift and serious sanctions, financial sanctions that would ultimately be controlled by the United Nations. So if that did happen, if what you're saying is true, it wouldn't be the British that seized the assets. It would likely be the Americans if there was anything to do with, penalties or sanctions on their economics. So.
Well, I'm going to move away from slight politics and so on, but that does affect the football, and we shall see what happens. Jamie gets saying, is there no bald vampire emoji? Well, he's managed to get the vampire emoji. I think that's something you may have to download and import into your computer and put into the chat. Sean Hurley is basically saying, has Brian D, thawed out from his picket in EN2 in Enfield? Basically, it was freezing cold today. Today was a proper cold. If any of you are in that part of the world, Hotspur way, and you get about half an hour free, do fly by, show the lads some support, bring them a coffee or bring them a blanket in this case. But thank you very much, all the protesters out there, the people that have gone out there and frozen themselves off. Jay Ashraf's in the house. Hi, Mr. K and Sean. Hi to you as well. I'm just going to quickly just move phone down. And John Fitzpatrick he's not mincing his words. He's going straight to it. Any signings yet? Hugo Lloris doesn't count as a signing, so the answer is not yet. We've still got another 6 days less. So we should see what happens. And we have experts in our club of doing things lastminute.com. So we leave it to them. Okay. Don Fitzpatrick, we are never getting to top 4 with this crop of clowns. I don't have a clown picture, do I? Do I have a clown picture anywhere? The closest thing I got is that. Sorry, can't help you there. But I'm going back to. You obviously know this picture, don't you, Sean?
Yeah. Best night in Tottenham's recent history, right? Yeah.
You know what I love about it the most? I did a lot of martial arts, and that particular stance is called the horse stance. And and he does it perfectly. I mean, he's not even a player.
He's got good form. Yeah,
absolutely. THF for life is in the house. Thank you very much for coming down. He goes, I saw Amrabat at the AFCOM. He is another wink sideways, backwards, utter dog. Your thoughts? I've not seen the young man play. It's another one of those Danny Rose Google the player to find out more. Going to YouTube, his agent, or he's got in touch with someone to make a good video about him. You know what, Sean? I think it's all very well people making videos of the highlights of a particular player showing their skills. But you know what I'd like? I'd actually like a video where players mess things up.
Yes.
And you know what? I would love to see things like that. And I think that's a lot more fun.
Idea. That is such a good idea.
Viewers out there, if you're into video editing and things like that, and you got the time, especially the younger viewers, college or university, you got time, make something like that. Yeah. Send me the link. I will get hundreds of fans coming to you. Yeah. Honestly, I don't have the time, but I do have the ideas.
That's amazing. That's a really
good idea. Sending love to each other from each other in Korean. I love that about the viewers that come into this chat. They absolutely adore one each other and back each other up, which is fantastic. Sean Hill is saying, roll on February the 1st with a yawn sign there. It's going to be happening, and they obviously, let's just pass by. And I do put them up because I think to myself that it's important that they get to see this. Because what it is, when this stream gets cut and then put into regular video slot, people can't see the comments. So this is the only way they're going to know what's been going on in the comments, by me highlighting them. So obviously it says, Gugum is saying, thank you for joining the stream. Thank you very much indeed. Please chat with us. Yes, just subscribe and then you can chat in there. And like as well. Listen, thank you very much, Guguma, and all you viewers out there. The reason why we say this is because I myself personally sometimes forget to do it until someone prompts me. So this is like a little bit of a prompt. But secondly, it's just when you have a channel that's very small compared to Teletubbies, you need to help it grow a little bit. There's children's programs out there that including my children watch, and they've got millions of views because at the end of the day, kids are like that. And there's a few of us. Sean Hurley is saying Abramovich has taken Israeli citizenship. I think he's entitled to, and he's free to do so. So no doubt Shavs will fold. Wow, we shall see. Listen, I'll be waiting to find out what happens with Chelsea, because one thing, I may not like Chelsea, but ever since they did become big, Bates bought the club for £1, right? But ever since they did become big, it has certainly upped the game in the capital. And, as far as I'm concerned, if the teams in the capital up the game, then against each other, they're all going to try to rise up. And that can only mean a healthy footballing. And also for all the young prospects out there in the southeast of England, they've got opportunities to get into academies and things like that and show their stuff. THF for life, trust me, he's awful. That's in reference to Amrabat. We will see if something like that happens. Jamie says, if World War III breaks out, Arsenal will cancel the postponed game. Jamie, I love you, mate. You really know how to put it on the level. Graham's he's saying, I was with Brian today. It was cold. Listen, Graham, thank you very much for going out there. Your continued support, representing us, the fans. Some of us which are too lazy to go, some of us which cannot go, and some of which are too far to go. So thank you very much. I know you represent all the fans. There's no animosity to the fans that can't make it, each to their own, but eventually it will grow. And whenever you can, show whatever support you can in whichever way you can. That's the way I see it. John Fitzpatrick said, Kaguma, likewise. Basically, THF for life is saying that this particular new player is too slow. I think one of the issues we have with our club is that, Sean, whenever you see the game being played, sometimes there's a dynamic movement where players are going forward, and then some guy on the wing will get the ball and then just stop. And then all these other players are going forward, and this guy stops and goes, I know, I'll pass it back to my defensive player. I can understand where you're trying to shift your team around in formation and to shift the opposition to look for a break, and maybe passing it this way will get a cross-field pass coming in. But those days when we used to get cross-field passes, that was Tony Alvarado. We used to get Yang Vertonghen would actually drive the ball through into the gaps. Dyer's not too bad at crossing the ball, and I think Sanchez can get better. So I think to a certain degree, being slow, it's going to kill the style of the team, tell you the truth. Jamie gets saying, Poch in horse stance. Yes, he is. True warrior through, though some saying his fault was too nice with players. Listen, I'm a nice guy, and maybe you've got a point there. Maybe in PSG he's going to learn to have a little bit more metal. Still number one in my book, and guess what? Still number one in my book. Right now in Conte, I trust. Conte has to do something with the team and the squad over a period of time in order for him to kind of at least compete, right? Because right now I've got Poch as number one and Redknapp as number two. Sean, who's your favorite in the last 10 or 15 years in terms of managers? Well, how would you rank number one and two? Who'd fit into that bill for you?
Do you know what? I actually wouldn't put. I know what Pochettino did for Tottenham, and it was the best time, But I actually didn't. I preferred watching us play when we had Harry Redknapp and we had Martin Jol. I love Martin Jol. For me, was the genesis of everything we have now. Yep. And he brought in a new style, and I was of an age then where I could absorb it and just fall in love again with Tottenham. Fall in love for the first time, really, because when I started growing up watching Tottenham in the 90s. We didn't really have much success, so it was all kind of. I still love Tottenham, but it was all kind of very disappointing. Whereas under Martin Jol, you could see the wheels were starting to turn in the right direction, and so Martin Jol and Harry Redknapp. Probably Harry Redknapp number one, Martin Jol number two, and then I
think Stelios has mentioned many times about Martin Jol. Brian Daigle mentioned Martin Jol. He goes that basically his heart broke when he found out that Martin Jol was sacked. By text.
At halftime.
And halftime, and I think to a certain degree, that's where Brian Daigle turned against Levy. Maybe before that, he turned a blind eye and maybe complained about a few things. But when that happened, he really got upset with Levy. I'm with you. I started to support Spurs like full on when Harry Redknapp came in. 2 points at the bottom of the Premier League, just sold your number one striker. What on earth do you do? You got this young man called Gareth Bale on the left-hand side. Every time the boy played, we lost a game. And he transformed. And the most saddest thing, and it's hurt me so much, was that debacle of him becoming England manager. And it destroyed our season. It absolutely destroyed our season. I'm going to move on from that. I'm going to move on from that because it's too painful for me to go through all the time. Roger Collins in the house saying, thank you very much for coming in, Roger. Once read an article in 442 that many football teams worldwide dread dealing with Levy. And I don't think that's no longer a myth. That's actually a fact. because of his suffocating negotiation style. Some teams just don't even bother opening communication. I think, you know, this situation that we've got right now with this young man in Manchester United called Van der Beek. There's a discussion going on right now that rather than sell the player, they want him to just get some experience. And, you know, teams do give out talented youngsters to other teams in the Premier League to get experience. Like for example, Gallagher is doing right now, I think, for Brighton. Crystal Palace. So I do beg your pardon. You know, he's an amazing.
He's amazing.
Do you like?
He'll walk back into Chelsea's first team next season. 100%.
Do you think there's any chance that we could buy him in the summer?
No chance. All right. It's the same with Manchester United with Donny van der Beek, right? So he might well end up going to Crystal Palace, or he'll go to Seville. But if he goes to Crystal Palace, it's because Manchester United want to loan him to a team where A, he can play a style of football that's going to be similar to what Man United play. B, it's a team that have a chance to compete, but C, they're not going to compete with Manchester United.
Right? Also, they may have a very good training manager. They may have a good manager there that understands players. I mean, right now, Vieira, you know, I didn't think he was going to do anything, but he's doing amazing work at Crystal Palace.
But Man United would never loan Donny van der Beek to
competitive
Tottenham.
Teams like us.
Never. Right? And I've seen tweets. I've seen tweets all day long from people saying we're going after Amrabat and Crystal Palace are going after Donny van der Beek. I'm done with the club. I'm like, oh come on, like that's insane. It takes two to tango. Man United would never loan him to us, so it's a. I think
what it is, Sean, is that it's not so much that the fans are not looking at it in terms of a realistic way. They're just basically saying, look at where we've got to, where we don't have options available to us.
Yeah,
and that leads to despair. Obviously, yourself, you know, you're quite a well-educated person, and you know you've trained really hard. You worked really hard in the industries out there in terms of financial institutions. So you accept the reality and you keep yourself pragmatic. Of course, so you've got desires. Of course, you've got hopes and aspirations. But because you've been keeping your fingers on the pulse of what's going on in terms of now and why that exists, you get on with things. And I think fans can be very passionate where they do live in yesteryear.
Yeah.
Right. And basically, you know, sometimes they express things in a passionate way, and people can actually read that the wrong way and not realize, hold on, that's just a fan just giving it passion.
100%.
And he's going to cry today, and tomorrow when they score a goal against Chelsea, they're going to start jumping up and down, and that's just passion for
it's a really
the
good
fans.
way of putting it, mate. You've described it very well there. I think, yeah.
Tony K,
I get frustrated, but I shouldn't. I think, yeah.
No, I'm just trying to give you. This is what Mr. K, Talk2K is all about. Is to give me and to give you a better insight into handling what's out there, rather than letting it affect us so much, because we can't be carrying that. It's not healthy for you. Definitely not healthy for you, especially now with COVID. All that length of time we've had being locked up, not being able to go around and do normal things, it can lead to a little bit of mass hysteria because we're all glued into our Twitter, we're all glued into social media, and you know how terrible that can be. Tony K is saying, could our wage structure hold us back? I think someone like Danny Rose said that years ago in Expose. Expensive players demand big wages, which could be our biggest issue, as it would inevitably raise the salaries of the whole team, who'd also want more. I think our team is like 18th on wages or something like that. It's like 15th or 16th or something like that in the Premier League. I think it's going to take time, because if you look at our squad now and you look at the surroundings, like the stadium and so forth, I think you have to give an opportunity for the stadium and for the other ventures to start making money, and incrementally, with the right manager, getting the right players who are willing to play, that will start to rise. But right now, you can't just give 200K to a player who's just going to stand around and do nothing all season long, which is where we've ended up. So I think Paratici's got a job on his hand trying to bring up the level of our recruiting and the level of our scouting, and obviously make sure that it goes to another level, not another level, but to an adequate level of top six. Conte did say, Sean, that it's not just the transfer, there's a lot of work to be done behind the scenes.
Yeah, scouting, coaching,
medical, making sure people are the academy. I think that's a very good thing that he's taken.
We just signed a new scout last week from he was was it Manchester United or was it ex Leeds? I forget. I've actually reached out to the guy to see if I can get him on the podcast, because I'd like to do some of those things with my channel. Haven't heard back yet.
Sean, have you seen this at all? When the Levy Out song?
Panda. I got broads in Atlanta. Just to me in the family. Credit cards in the scammers. Getting no list in the bank. Legacy.
Very cool. Very cool.
Believe it or not, that was the first video I ever made.
How can you play that? How can you play that music without getting a copyright strike?
One, it's basically it's freeware music. It's been given as freeware. I downloaded it. I created it in a software program, and that's perfectly allowed. That music piece was actually given that particular clip because it's so short, and the actual artist has given permission to that company. So I didn't do it through myself. I actually did it through a piece of software, and then that's how I did it. I'm not really a video editor in any way.
Very cool.
Will Stewart is the actual expert on that. He created everything else. But I mean, for example, this backdrop that we've got, where are we? Let me just front that one there. This was actually designed by Hotspur, believe it or not.
Oh wow!
Right? Yeah, and then obviously, what Will did was he grabbed that up, he changed it to purple, and then he did this. He also put animation in it. I'm not going to wait to the moment it starts to vibrate and move around, but it actually moves with the music when the bass kicks in.
That was the intro music.
The intro,
yeah. I noticed it. Very cool, mate.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So that's Will Stewart.
I got to do all that shit. I got to do.
Well, can you imagine that people love to help? I know you're an artist yourself and you can make your own stuff, but don't leave it all on yourself. Do accept help whenever you can, when it's given to you. Well, you know, you're your own man. Scott M's in the house. Poch easily number one, but Harry was fun as well. The True Sets Freeze in the house. Levy Out, he says, fantastic. Levy Out, indeed. You know what? Levy Out. What happens when people say Levy Out? I get triggered.
Panda. I got broads.
I can't help it. But I can't do it too much because obviously it'll get irritating. Gaguma, big up Sean. That's to yourself. If that's the case, I must be way behind in my comment section over here. Maybe we've been talking too much. Let's have a little look over here. We should go straight to the case. That's funny. I'm watching Redknapp's team. Wow. 2010 to 2011 Sky Sports. How now against Man City to get top four.
I remember that game. Yeah.
Kaguma, Harry Redknapp has the funniest reactions on the sideline. He certainly did. Jamie Gets said it was Harry Redknapp's Tottenham style of play, plus players like Defoe, Crouchy, Lennon, Adebayo. Adebayo, as soon as he signed the contract, he stopped playing. And also Gallus as well was in our team. We took him on from Chelsea, and he did really well.
Yeah.
He came up. Chris in the house
He
saying, "Big up."
He was Arsenal as well, wasn't he, Mr. K?
Yes, he was. He was Arsenal, then Chelsea, and he did the holy trinity of London.
Yeah, he did, and he got away with it as well. He got
no
one booed him. You know,
no,
it was weird.
What is all fans? We want to see anyone who comes into our team to play for the team.
Yeah,
and he did. He put his body on the line many times.
Yeah.
Shamu's in the house. Gaguma Shamu, the Blackpink reference. That's a K-pop reference. I think maybe something like, for example, I don't know if anyone's seen this, but my daughters are absolutely massive K-pop fans, and this is BTS. They absolutely love this group. It's youngsters.
They're
the way the
huge,
music.
BTS.
They're the largest group on the planet.
Are they? Yeah, it's weird. I've never heard one of their songs. It's so strange.
I think they got one that came in the Stephen Colbert show, which was Boy with Love. I'll play it to you afterwards.
Okay.
It's a
no, don't worry about it.
Definitely check it out.
I'll check it out at some point. Yeah.
I did a quiz. Me and the wife, we did a quiz on K-pop with BTS, and you only get to listen to the track for half a second. And there are over 300 tracks that brought out over time, and we got, I think, 65% right. So we're part of the BTS army.
Okay,
fantastic.
Congratulations.
Mark Swift is saying, hit that like and sub. Do not get your super chats in. Wink, wink. But, you know, it is what it is. Do what people can. John Fitzpatrick is saying, we are a effing shit show. It's embarrassing now. Zero ambition. Crap players. We are going nowhere in a hurry. John, I fully understand what you're saying. But right now, come on, chill with K. Chill with K. Chill with K.
Chill out, John.
Shamu,
it might never happen, buddy.
You know, we just got to turn around and we just got to, we can't hold it all day long. You know what it is? You know this cup of tea? I can fill it up and it can weigh this much. But if I hold it all day long, it gets heavier.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with what we're doing right now. We've got to get rid of that type of thing. Now, someone's actually chucked a super chat in while you were chatting about it, right? The truth sets free. He's saying, thank you for Shamu, King of the Ocean, the Orca Well, Dr. K. I have one thing to say. Love you out. I think he's hit it.
I got broads in Atlanta. Just to me in the family. Credit cards and the scammers. Getting no list in the balance. Legacy.
I'm not too sure if is it my computer or did that glitch in any way? I'm not sure if it did. Okay, I'm going to quickly shoot down because we've got a lot of people that suddenly popped into the stream. Maybe one of the other streams out there finished because we have a few streams on Tuesday night. And then when they finish, people start to come into here, which is absolutely fantastic. More the merrier. Mr. Reload XXX is in the house. Just got a Brian Gill ad, probably why the club bought him. So basically, Brian Gill, he's an exciting player, bit young, has more experience to go through. I think maybe in about 2 years, we're going to see an amazing player. So I think we just have to bear with it for a while. It's down to the club what they do with him. Shamu's saying, I can't do it too much or it will get irritating, a bit like the last 20 years under Levy. Oh, my days. You know what? That's going to trigger me. Ugh. Chris, I deleted it. Keyboard Warriors. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on in the background. And, you know,
do you know what, Mr. K, about Brian Hill?
Yeah.
As much as I think he's going to be a fantastic star in a couple of years, we paid a lot of money for someone who's not ready. You know, we paid 25 million plus we gave them Lamella, who probably had, I don't know, 6 to 8 million quid left on his valuation. So you pay 32 million pound for a player who's you know, he might be a superstar, but he's not ready yet. It's a lot of money. Oh, your screen's gone. Oh, it's back. It's back, baby. Yeah, do you think we paid too much for him? Do you think that was a waste of 32 million quid's worth of transfer kitty?
I think if you paid it in one lump sum, right, yeah, then possibly we might have made a mistake because we need players on the pitch right now. If you're going to pay that type of money, right, you need a player to come straight in and start doing some stuff, 3 months to get used to the team, and then start performing in the second half of the season. I don't think we paid a full lump sum for him. I think it's one of those ones where we might find out later on that the contract is loan and then payment, like a month, like a yearly sort of payment, a bit like Lo Celso. He came in the first year, it was a loan, then he's been paying like 5 or 6 million a year right now for him. But I'm going to quickly, you know what it is? I believe he's very exciting. I just think we've got to give him a break. It's not his fault he's in the team. And he's trying really, really hard. Every time he comes on the pitch, he tries really hard.
He's busy. Yeah.
Now, I've lost my way in the comments. I certainly am. I'm just going to choose this one at random. Kuva saying, is Poch really too nice? Mr. K disarms his foes with kind words, and you can be a leader through simple suggestion when people want to follow you through respect, love, and admiration. I do believe that being nicer is better than not being nice. But I believe that when you have a warrior spirit, sometimes you need to give people the hairdryer treatment to get them to get up. And I think that I do have that ability, by the way. And I think he had it too. But I think this narrative that he was too nice, maybe a little bit of a narrative. I'm not too sure. I think it showed in some of his substitutions that he made. And there was some times when he made substitutions it didn't make any sense. And it didn't work either. Right now, Conte is probably the best manager I've seen the last 4 managers when it comes to substitutions. What do you think, Sean? I mean, in terms of substitutions alone.
You think he's one of the best managers for substitutions?
So far, I've seen more impact when he makes substitutions than not. So you know I think there's.
I don't really agree. I feel like.
Please do. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, it's just an opinion, isn't it? But I don't. Yeah, I mean, maybe substitutions are better than team selection because maybe I think sometimes I look at the first 11 he sends out and I scratch my head. It's unnecessary to pick the 11 that he does, whether he was doing it for a purpose or whether he genuinely thought that was the right 11. You know, I don't know, but sometimes I think there's probably 2 or 3 games that have been played in the last 2 months where most Tottenham fans, wherever you sit on any various opinion, would scratch your head and say, "Well, that's the 11 or that's the formation." And I mean, I've been on a bunch of different channels where everyone in the pre-match pump-ups are going, "Huh?" And yet we give him a bit of a pass. We kind of say like, "Oh, it's Conte. Don't worry, he knows what he's doing." But I think a lot of the time, well, most of the time, I sit there and scratch my head at sometimes, like playing Matt Doherty left back, playing that 6-2-2 or 4-4-2 with.
There have been. I think there's been at least 2 games where we questioned some of his selection and which player he put where. John Fitzpatrick saying, "Sorry, Mr. K, for being so negative, but it's hard to see any positives. Our club is dead now." No, listen, the fans are the club. The chairman can come and go. The building in the stadium is made out of brick and mortar. That can come and go. The players will come and go. The staff, the coaching staff will come and go. But we are here for life. And we're the best fans on the planet as far as I'm concerned. So come on, you Spurs, right? So don't worry about it. You come to the right place. It's perfectly fine. We all feel negative sometimes. Sean Hurley is saying number 1, Pochettino, number 2, Hull. For me, Harry's conduct once England's job became available was dereliction of duty that cost us the United. You know what? We even paid for some tax avoidance case. Yeah, that was a bit naughty. Harry is loyal to Harry first and second, but he did genuinely love our club. I mean, look, the way he was, I love him anyway. I'll put him in number 3 then. I'll put him in number 3. I would tell you the truth, number 2 and 3, Martin Jol definitely deserves to be up there. You know what? I think there's another person that's entered our chat and I've totally missed his coming in. If there's a person out there called Talk Ball, his name's Colin, and he does a show, and he goes, "Great to see you earlier in the Tommy show. You know, welcome to the show. The truth sets free." My man, what are you doing? You've chucked another one in there. This show is lit. Dr. K, the legendary DJ, levy out. Oh my days. Please.
Panda. I got broads in Atlanta. Just got me in the family. Credit cards and the scammers. Getting no list in the band. Legacy.
Okay, listen, that's enough. No more doing this. No more doing this. Like, I will. Look, at the end of the day, I do listen to everything you guys say. But I don't want you guys to go too much, all right? Please, in terms of actually, no, we could end up with the whole show just doing that song. But we'll see. We did a whole show once on just curry and Japanese style foods and so forth. So we have been, at the end of the day, Talk2K is really about what you guys want to talk about. I'm just here as an in-between sort of person, and I always have a lovely host with me. Right now, it's the lovely Sean. I'm going to quickly just shoot down a little bit too much. But listen, the truth sets free. Thank you. Honestly, thank you. All right. I do really appreciate that. Truth. So we have some sort of Kane hating. No, who's hating Kane? Right. I'm not going to allow that. Paul's in the house. Punch bag workouts. Big up, lads. Have you ordered your baby oil? I've got a case of it. It's arrived through Amazon. It's done, mate. It's done already. We are definitely going to go there. Now, obviously, there's going to be plenty of people out there that are going to agree with you. I think they're right, which is basically Thug for THF for life. You know what? That could be pronounced as Thug for life as well. Agree, Sean. Gil was overpriced. He's lightweight. We paid way too much, says Gil.
Just, you know what? A quick one. Will Stewart, just the one above that, he said, wow, I actually agree with Sean, which makes me think, Will, that maybe you don't agree with me on many other things. That's okay, but that's okay.
I think differences of opinion. See, this is the Will Stewart's rants channel, the overall channel. And boy, people have differences of opinion. That's why they go into a proper ranty sort of thing. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we have this for a reason, and that's to get that out of you.
Yeah. Because
we're Spurs fans. At the end of it, we're still going to be Spurs fans. We're still, that's the beautiful thing about Spurs, is having that fandom in there. Big up to you as well. Now, Randolph Richardson. Hello, everyone. And hello to you as well. You know what? That is a lovely name. Fantastic. Crocodocs in the house. Fun fact. I love the fun facts. Daily Mail reports that Spurs are making the biggest misses on attendance revenue. On average, £165,000 a game. That's really low. Yeah. I'm sure Amrabat will get those numbers up after we Google him. Yeah. Levy has lost his soul, says Shamu. And Paul is saying, this guy on the right is brilliant, by the way. That's Yuji. I heard him on the Irish Hotspur, and he's extremely knowledgeable and level-headed. I think we have gone to, something. Just when I say something, an average of 8,000 seats were empty per game. But just when I say something, right, yeah, Somebody is gonna call me out.
Panda, panda, panda. I got broads in Atlanta. Just took the lean in the family. Credit cards and the scammers. Hitting the list in the band. Legacy.
The truth says, please stop that, because I don't want the rest of the viewing audience to get sick of that song. But they if you play it too much. But listen, thank you very much. I know you're supporting the channel. I really 100% know you're supporting the channel. And I know this is one way for you to have a bit of fun as well, which is fantastic. You know what it is? I get embarrassed when these things happen, Sean. I don't know what it's like, maybe how you're like, but I genuinely get a little bit shy and embarrassed, and my cheeks go a little bit red. And you know,
super chats.
Yeah, it's you know what it is. I originally created this show for a little bit of therapy for me, and also maybe as by extension, whoever came in to have a little bit of therapy too, and just to relax on a Tuesday night. And when I started off doing Three Wise Men on Tuesday nights, nobody did a stream on a Tuesday. It was like the deadest night in the week, and I thought, you know what, do it on that one. And then little bit by little bit, the more and more Spurs content is being created, more and more Spurs channels are starting to come out on a Tuesday night. And I think it's brilliant because it gives us an opportunity to reflect over the weekend and look forward to any games during the week. Shamu's saying, Tommy talks exactly. And over here, Gaguma is going to write things in Korean to Tony Ko, because they are both South Koreans. Unfortunately, I can't understand. Aglia's in the house. Absolutely fantastic. Hiya, Mr. K and Sean. Big up, you two lovely lads. And Levy out. Play that tune. You know what? This is the last. Please tell me there's no more coming through right yet about that, because I'll play this one more last time. I don't want to be doing it too many times. But you know, I feel a bit shy that I actually created this track. So.
I got broads in Atlanta. Just took the lean in the family. Credit cards and the scammers. Hitting the list in the band. Legacy.
Biggest transfer budget so far. Listen, Ryan McFarlane's in the house. I do beg your pardon, Ryan. I think you may have sent a message up above. I did know you were here. I totally missed you out. How are you? Enoch out, he's trying to say. Oren's in the house, aka Mr. Spurs. Oren is a lovely, knowledgeable fellow that I bumped into on one of the street. I think it was Tommy's show, and yeah, it's interesting because you know he presents like the same facts, but in a very calm sort of alternative manner. And I think that's one of the biggest problems we've got with the Spurs fan base, is that we all get the same facts. We all have the same access to information. And I think it's down to the interpretation of those facts. And I think that may be leading towards, when I was saying earlier about the passion of certain fans, that they want to get things out. And then there's other fans which are very educated, very articulate, and they'll present it in a much more calmer fashion. And I think to myself, you know, we need to have dialogues with each other where we educate each other on things that we don't know, and bring down the blood pressure. You know, I know this. I know this personally from experience.
Yes,
you know, I personally know this because, you know, this is the reason why I came to THFCRants in the first place, was to get that stuff out of me. And then I realized that I was actually one of those type of fans that was called sentimental FC. You know, I held on. No, I genuinely did. I held on to a player even when they were playing crap. And basically, let me finish off his statement. If Spurs bring in all the players that are linked in, what will fans think of Levy and Enoch then? Laughing out loud. I think to a certain degree, myself personally, I made for me, Levy crossed the line years ago. So for me, I'm always going to think the same thing of him. Whatever he does now is, as far as I'm concerned, window dressing. But I agree with you that you know, if he brings in the right type of players or whatever, then there will be a calming of the storm. And I think that some people, they're not going to forgive Levy for things he did in the past. They're going to continue, like myself. But there's other people who are basically thinking, you know, do I need to join a protest to say that basically I'm not satisfied with what's going on? That's down to the individual self. And I think protest is an individual right in this country, and we should be entitled to do so. And also opinion matters, especially when you don't have a club that makes itself so transparent as maybe it could do. Maybe more dialogue could be required in the future.
That's the biggest problem, Mr. K. That apart, when it comes to Daniel Levy, and first of all, let me just quickly say, Oren, big up, mate. I very much appreciate your style.
Oh, you know what? Listen, I totally forgot, Sean. I was supposed to send Oren a link over the last few days. I totally forgot. But listen, you know what? After the hour's coming up, I will be chucking links out there. So if anybody does want to come on, all the lovely viewers out there do want to come on, I will be throwing the link out there in a couple of minutes. I'm going to quickly just scroll through the quick. I think there's a few more people that have come in. And if they are, I'm going to give them a quick little big up right now. No, I don't want to be talking
Irish
about.
Hotspur's in the house.
He is in the house. Have I missed him out somewhere? Where is he?
He's just come in.
There he is. David's in the house. Big up all. Big up to you, David. Thank you very much for coming down to my show. Honestly, I really do appreciate it. I'm starting to blush up and everything. Listen, we've got to the hour mark now. And normally when we get to the hour mark, we've got to halfway through the show. I'd like to throw the link to all the viewers, everyone out there, whoever wishes to come in. And, you know, I don't want people to argue. Please, not arguing. But I do want people to come in and maybe say things that they feel and so forth. But before I do that, I would like to do something which I'm supposed to do for the channel. I normally do it at the beginning. I totally forgot to do that. And that is throw a shout out to our Patreon members, Mama Coates, Wayne Bonner, Tony Coe, Guguma, Alex Burton, Bobspur TV, and John N. And also our YouTube members, which are 4-star generals, Aglia Kakaratas, our captains, Wayne Bonner and Mark Swift, the Williams Rangers, Cisays, Tony Caraco, Tony Coe, Dave Jones, Tottenham Tantrum, John Langford, Matthew THFC Collins, Chaps the 30, David, Eunice, Scottham, and the William Celts of Matt Hayes, The Truth Sets Free, Amzo, Dazza Hotspur. I remember he became a member in the show. Aaron Dove. If any of you viewers out there, if I've missed you out in any way and they're not written on there, please let us know, and I'll get William to correct that particular sheet. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly invite, copy, and send it out to all the viewers, and they can all pop in. There you go. Now, this is going out to many different platforms in terms of Twitch, in terms of Facebook, in terms of Twitter. So everyone out there, we broadcast to many different platforms, not just to YouTube. And that's one of the reasons why we use StreamYard. Okay, I'm going to quickly grab the last comment over here. Shamu's saying, not happy with this window. You know what it is, double glazing, or is it one of those uplifting windows? I don't know which one you have. Yet again, we leave it late and make it harder for ourselves. We want to be a big club, but we act like a timid little... look, viewers out there, I think that there is you know what it is? Words mean an awful lot. And understanding words will help you, in your heart. We are a great club. We are a big club because we have the 9th richest club on the planet. We have one of the best stadiums on the planet, some of the best training facilities on the planet. We're the club that done the double first in this country. We're the club that won the first European Cup for this country. So we are a great club, a big club, but are we a top club? And I think people are mistaking the word top for great. And I think in order for us to become a top club, there's a lot of work to be done in order for us to be there to win it. When Conte is asked this question, he genuinely laughs before he answers it. And he says, there's so much work to be done. He goes, you have to put yourself there in the first place before you have an opportunity to win something. He goes, everybody wants to win something, but you can't win something by just wishing it. There is a lot of areas that you need to raise together, not just transfer of players. There's a lot of areas. So a lot of youth development, sending your players out to get that development, sending them to the right places, knowing when to fit them into your team. There has to be some sort of philosophy that you follow and some sort of procedures you follow. And that has to be architected by people who have got that maturity and intelligence. So we need to bring in more staff at that level, okay? In those areas, we need to bring in better medical team staff. We need to bring in better scouting staff. We need also policy to put in. We also need networked associations where we can send our players out to good places to get loaned out and for them to actually get played. I mean, look what happened to Parrott, for example. He went off. He wasn't playing. He started to muck around, started to do all his things on the side. And that boy has not been really heard from again, which is such a shame because Skip went out at the same time, knuckled his head down, did an awful lot of hard work, came back, and now is showing the results of being into our team. I reckon in another year, he is captain material. Honestly, lead by example, I say. And he does. He's an absolute tiger, lion on the pitch. I've seen him with my own eyes. The difference between him and Winks right is amazing in terms of physical presence. Roger Collins is saying, we probably lost a lot of potential transfers and loan moves over the years due to Levy's reputation, and other teams don't even bother open direct channels of communication with us. I think what it is, I'll tell you the truth, when it comes to transfers, there are a few things that go on. And Sean, you know an awful lot about how the financial deals, you understand them better. But from my perspective, I know that there's a lot of skullduggery that goes on from the players' agents, from the opposition clubs, from the newspapers. An awful lot of things get circulated that absolutely are not true. And this is what you were talking about earlier about transparency. How would you like to see the club be more transparent when it comes to, communicating with us, the fans? And what vehicle, and how should they be able to do so? What should they do? Do you think Levy should just come out into a show like this on a regular basis? Tuesday nights, come over here, Talk2K, Levy, Talk2K. Where's Levy anyway? There you go. Come here and talk to the fans, let them know what's going on. If you're a nice guy, they'll get to like you more.
No, that'd be a recipe for disaster. Right? I don't want him to do that. What I'd like him to do though is to like, I don't know if you've ever read the financial reports of Tottenham Hotspur, right?
I don't read, unfortunately.
95 pages long of type 6 print. I have to get a magnifying glass out to go through it when I read them. And that's all you ever hear from him, right? You hear from him there, and you hear from occasional statements that about it may be in a match day program about a game, but he never comes out and explains what the process, what the strategy looks like. We come out and have a better communication, a bit more transparency. If he can't do it because he's not a good communicator, then hire a press secretary who actually knows how to communicate and gets the vision. Because if Tottenham fans, I think it's the guesswork that kills us, right? We don't know. Right. We have no one telling us what the plan is, what the strategy is. And if you just came out and said, look, money's tight because of this, right? So don't expect miracles, but you can expect this. We're going to see what we can do. It's a 3-year project. We want to revamp the squad or whatever over 3 years. Let us know what the plan is. If you don't tell us, we leave it up to our imaginations, and it breeds contempt. It breeds anger.
Talking about breeding contempt, you know what? I would love for this person over here to pop inside, because you know what it is? This, you know how fans suddenly jump on like their minds go like into pieces sometimes. You remember I said to you that I've got this sentimental FC sort of heart. And so sorry, Orin, welcome to the stream. Thank you very much, viewers out there. This is Mr. Spurs over here. If I get rid of this comment, which is two set saying basically great show and channel, like, share, and sub, etc. But now you can see his name. His name is Orin. He's also known as Mr. Spurs. And basically, Orin, transparency from the club. Fans are prone to mass hysteria. Fans, they can cry, they can laugh, they can jump up and down. Passion is a lot, but sometimes being pragmatic and actually having knowledge or expertise in something, which sometimes fans don't have, it can really leave fans without that knowledge, and they can easily be swayed by the media, by Twitter. How do you see our club? If it's possible for our club to become more transparent, how do you think they can do that and help the fan base? What do you think?
I don't think they, fans want. I get why fans want it, but I always compare Spurs to other teams. These years from they're not releasing press reports of what they're going to do, and Roman Abramovich, never heard him talk about. So I think Daniel speak for the fans, because he can say, right, we're going to.
Sorry, Orin, every third word is breaking up. Is it Sean? Is his voice breaking up every third? It is. Okay, sorry. You know what it is? You're saying valuable things, and I want to hear them clearly if possible.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know, maybe your internet connection, if you could maybe pop out and pop back in, maybe that might fix it.
Yeah, okay, I'll leave it.
Yeah? I will give this question straight back to you when you do, okay? So listen, I really appreciate the fact that you come here. You've got this amazing smile when you do smile, so please do carry on smiling, because the viewers out there are going to absolutely love looking at you. In fact, it's like, have you got your baby oil by any chance?
No.
Have you got? Okay, but listen, pop out of the stream, kill your studio thing, and then come back in through the link again, please. Okay, much appreciated. Thank you very much. All right. And talking about people, Shane Black's in the house. Shane, how are you, my man? How are you?
Good, Mr. K, and you?
Not too bad. But I've just suddenly heard something, Shane. Paul McCady pulled up an injury on his debut. Poor lad.
Mark and
Oh, that's absolutely horrible. That's absolutely horrible. Look, DM's in the house. DM's in the house. Where did their Getter sponsorship deal money go? I think that's something that slowly feeds in. Come on, we can't put too much. But listen, DM, welcome to the show. Honestly, I really do appreciate you coming down. The money will come in.
Nice to meet you, buddy.
Nice to meet you.
I think when it comes to sponsorships, right? Yeah, it takes time for money. I think the real sponsorship is when is the stadium deal going to get done? Shane, transparency. What do you think? Do you think the club should become a lot more transparent? Do you think that it is transparent already, or do you think it's a waste of time to do so?
Waste of time to do so.
Why would that be? I mean, don't you think that sometimes
we all call for transparency, but we don't want to know the truth.
Sorry,
basically,
we don't want to know the truth. I mean,
we don't want to know the truth, really.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna while you're saying that, I'm gonna bring Dermot into the chat as well. Dermot, we're talking about transparency. Shane is of the opinion. I don't want to cut you up with that, Shane, but the thing is, Shane's of the opinion that it wouldn't help. It wouldn't help. And another baby old man is coming to the house. But guys, we're talking about transparency. How will transparency help the club? Is it too late? So right now, I've put that question to Dermot. Dermot, what do you think, mate? Transparency, good or bad from the club?
Can you go to somebody else, Mr. K? Just give me a bit of time to think on that answer.
No problem at all. I'm going to bring it over to Mari. Mari, thank you very much for coming to the stream. This is Mari from that Spurs episode. He comes and does a show on a Wednesday. Please do check his channel out. Honestly.
Hey, my brothers. Good.
Hey, Mari.
Good panel. I am a business macro economics nerd, along with counseling and leadership nerd. I'm very eclectic, and so I like to go into the mindset and mentality of things. And number one, as a counselor, communication is key in all types of relationships. Either it's business, dating relationship, parents, you name it, it's key. When they had the interview with the trust, last word of Spurs, when they asked Levy, basically, okay, what is the plan? What is the vision? At that time, we haven't hired Nuno yet. Basically, according to them, and the board is kind of leaning like pro Levy. They were told, we're not going to tell you. We're not going to tell you what's that plan. That's the reaction that they got. I was surprised because at that point, I didn't have respect for the trust. I thought the trust was very weak in comparison to other.
Just to give it a bit of short here. So what you're saying is that basically the trust, like maybe it's a little bit too late, too little, or do you think that basically we can get transparency? Yes or no?
It's never too late.
That's the case. I'm going to go over to Oren now quickly, just to get his yes and no as well, possibly. I will come back to you, Mari, because I did promise Oren that to get him as soon as he come back. Oren, how's your microphone? How's your internet, mate?
Hopefully it's better.
That's fantastic. Oren,
yeah.
Good transparency, good or just too late, bad?
I think Spurs have been transparent because, if they say one thing and, they've said Spurs have told the fans exactly what they're going to do, and the fans want it done yesterday. So I think this transparency has been done. The club has been very open all the way through. They haven't give fans overpromised. It's not like saying we're going to spend 200-300 million a year.
Oren, so you've given an answer which is basically in between the yes and no, which is basically you think it's adequate enough. I'm going to throw the question out towards if Dermot's ready. If Dermot, you ready?
Yeah.
Just simply because I want to keep it short. I want to make sure that everyone gets to give me a proper answer, and then I'll go to a little bit more details if possible, right? But for the time being, Dermot, do you think that basically the club can become more transparent? Should become more transparent? Is transparent enough already, or do you think it's too little, too late?
I think it's a little bit too little, too late. I think they've had their chances to be, and they haven't taken their chances. There's been no communication at all between the club owners or the chairman the fans.
Hasn't Levy look? I mean, I've seen Levy on a video looking a bit like whatever. I mean, he has done something. I'm going to throw this last question, yes or no, right? Yeah. to a coach that I know. Stelios, are you really there, or is that someone else holding a gun to someone else's head? If not, I'm going to quickly give a big shout out to Gaguma, who's put in a super chat. Unfortunately, I cannot. She's written it to Will. Will hopefully might jump in later on and be able to read it out for me. Gaguma, thank you very much for that super chat. And I do believe that Stelios is ready to give us a yes or no answer, maybe, or 3 different types of things. It's done already, not done. Where are you, Stel? No?
Leave you out. Enoch out. Leave you out. Enoch out. These people.
Okay, that's not even the question. That's not even the question. Okay, care. I love that.
I don't care.
Love that.
They
okay,
have to
but
go.
So basically, you believe.
So
let me get this right. I get it. So let me get this straight. You think it's too little, too late. I fully get that. I'm going to bring in someone as well. I've got Tom over here.
Mr. K, what was the question?
The question. You did not been listening to the show.
I caught the last 2 minutes.
Right, okay. Basically, Tom, welcome to. I'm going to come to you in a minute, Tom. Stel, basically, the question is: do you think that the club has been transparent enough by communicating with the fans? Do you think that the club should become more transparent with the club, or do you think it's too little, too late?
In the Amazon documentary, Daniel Levy, on that series, documentary, whatever you want to call it, he said, sacking Pochettino was the toughest decision in my life as chairman of Tottenham, and only 2 managers are of the elite level. One of them was Mourinho, and he couldn't miss out on getting him, and he will live or die by his decision.
Okay,
well,
so basically,
where's the consequences of the words that he said to us? Because he got it badly wrong. He's put the club in a mess for 3 years. So, transparency. He's not fulfilling the words that he said to us. He's a liar.
Okay, so you believe that basically that there should be more transparency, but you believe that it's too little, too late by this particular administration, correct? Yes.
Okay. Mr. K, it's not about transparency. It's not about transparency. It's about sticking to.
No, but that's the question, though. No, I don't care about the rest. I've asked you a question, bro. Just stick
but you can't say that, man. You're just making it black or white, man. Life isn't black or white.
Your opinion, if possible, still. That's what
my opinion is there's grey stuff in the middle, and when there is transparency,
that's important. That's important. So you've given me something, and Oren has given me something. Okay, because originally I started off with a yes and no question, and both of you guys have given me more details. So there's a lot more to this question than I originally thought. You know, I think that's absolutely amazing. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give all of you guys an alternative perspective. Okay, Tom is a Manchester United fan. Tom, welcome to the stream. How are you, sir?
Yeah, not bad, guys. How are we all doing?
Not too bad indeed. Listen, Tom, you're a Manchester United fan. Now, you have got your own type of owners, and you've got your own type of difficulties with your owners and your chairman, correct? Now, with your owners also communicate with the fans. And I remember what happened to the ESL. They started to come out and start groveling a little bit. Now, where you are as a Manchester United fan, how your chairman is transparent with the fans, you can see all the way down to our club. By comparison from your club to our club, which club do you think is more transparent, or do you think both of them have got issues?
Well, both of them have had issues for years. Let's be real. The ownership at both clubs is poor. Fan orientation, there is no fan orientation. The difference between Man United is we spend money on the team and the players. You spend money on the stadium and projects. That's the only difference. Man United have not had Old Trafford has not. Yeah, but let me put it into context, Mr. K. Man United have not had a development project in Old Trafford for nearly 18 years. You've just built a new stadium, but we spend nearly £1 billion in the last 10 years. You spent $1 billion. Yeah, the only difference with Spurs is you don't spend £1 billion on your players. You spent it on a new stadium. Right. And neither of us are looking at any better. And like you've just said with the chairman's situation.
I'm going to bring this back to Sean now. Sean, it seems to me that if you spend £1 billion on your players, which some of us Spurs fans would love to do, and they point towards the club and say, hey, you guys are not spending £1 billion on your players. And then another club spends £1 billion on a stadium rather than the players. So we have 2 different spectrums here. Sean,
we couldn't spend £1 billion on our players. We would have been massively in breach of the FFP regulations. The £1 billion we spent on the stadium comes out of infrastructure spend, which isn't affected by FFP. So it's not the same. Manchester United's
I'm
coffers.
just making a point, Sean, which is basically
Well, can I
you
make
got
my
one
point?
team.
You asked me a question. Can I make it? Or...
Sorry. What I meant is that basically you got one team which is spending on players. You got another team
but we have spent on players. We can't spend £1 billion, but we have spent a lot of money on players, right?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Okay, can I get a point out? Or
we borrowed the money to build the stadium. We borrowed the money.
guys, this is Talk2K.
We borrowed the money.
We're not going to start playing with one
spend,
another
mate.
on.
What are you talking about, bro?
Sean, I just want to
We
know.
borrowed the money to build the stadium.
Yeah.
So
what? What's that got to do
relax,
with anything?
relax, Stel. Relax. And also, Sean, please. What I'm trying to get to is we started off with transparency, right? Yeah. And what we're turning around to is that basically the perception of what the club is doing, its intention of doing so, where its ambition is, where it's going to go to. These are all mixed in amongst the mix. Now, what I'm doing right now is I'm looking at Manchester United and I'm looking at our club. The perception is from the outside that here is a club like Manchester United, which is investing a lot in its players. Here is a club like Tottenham, which is investing a lot in its infrastructure in terms of the stadium. Now, in the middle, you got to have like a balance, right? I wanted to know, because you know more about the money side of it. Is there somewhere in the middle that we could get to, and also where the club communicates its intentions with us a lot more clearly? Orin over here thinks that it's already communicating effectively, but what's your view on this, brother?
Well, I was trying to say, right? So, I mean, I don't know what Coach Stella's talking about, but it doesn't make a difference whether you borrow the money or it.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't, Stell.
Yes, it does, mate.
It makes no difference.
I'm going to mute both of you, right? Yeah, if you don't start, please concentrate on Mr. Talk2K.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the point, right? So we spent £150 million on 3 players that were complete shambles, right? We spent £350 million in the last 3 years. We spent 7. Oh, sorry, that's a lie. That last bit's a lie. But 7 of the first of the first 11 were bought in the last 3 years, right? So when you say we don't invest in players, we do invest in players. The players we've invested in have been shit shows, in all honesty. But it's a myth.
Sorry,
it's
I
a
was
fallacy
being
to say that we
simplistic.
haven't invested.
No, sorry, I was being simplistic. I do beg your pardon. I meant by comparison. Like they spend a lot of money on players.
Yeah, but they have the world's biggest brand. They have massive revenues coming in. It's a different kettle of fish. A different kettle of fish altogether.
Agreed. So you carry on, please, with your point, please.
No, nothing. I've made it. Boys, I'm going to drop off, mate, because if you can't get more than 10 seconds to make a point, it's not really much of a conversation.
It wasn't meant to. I was meant to.
No, I know. There's just lots of people on. It's late for me anyway, mate. I'm going to jump off.
Thank you very much for coming down, Sean. It's a pleasure, mate.
Take care.
Thank you very much. Brilliant.
Information on the private chat, because I would love to have.
Okay, Sean, you take care, brother.
No,
beg your pardon.
No, I've messaged you on the Irish Hotspur channel, and I would like to have a just a good discussion on that, because I know a lot about the finances. Okay, he just left. Okay.
One second. Oh, sorry. I did beg your pardon. I'm back. Sorry, I thought you were talking.
He got rattled because I called him out just now. I've got a degree, a master's in finance. I've got a master's in finance. He's wrong what he's saying.
Coach, what are you talking about, bro? You're talking absolute nonsense, mate. You're talking nonsense.
Right, guys.
I'm pressing the invite. Sean, I would like to talk to you. A very good conversation, because I know a lot about the tablet stock.
Okay, guys, do me a favor. Take this into the private chat. Take this into the private chat outside, okay? Please. Now, Orin, I do beg your pardon.
Order.
Mr. K, can I just say something on this?
You need one of them anvils. That's what you need.
Now, listen, guys. This is Talk2K. There's a viewing audience out there. They come here to Talk2K. Okay? I do a very different show. I do not do a show where people argue with one another, where they call each other by their names to address each other in some fashion. I am trying to direct the show in where I feel best, and my show is extremely different compared to other shows. I do not have people arguing or debating with one another. I want people to give 2 pence to something that I'm trying to get to, so that we can all get an impression of something. You have no idea what I'm trying to get to. Have the respect for me, and I have respect for you. And believe me, I will lead you in the right way. Right? So this thing about the 10-second thing, no, I'm just trying to get a gauge, a feeling, and then I want to move it from one point to the next point so that we can go somewhere. I'm sorry that this looks like a panel of people that normally would appear in another show and they would start to argue vehemently about things. I see fans here, football first, including Tom. The rest of you guys are passionate fans, Spurs fans, and we're family. And sometimes we have to be able to talk civilly to one another without preconceived ideas. Orin, you mentioned earlier, you mentioned earlier that the club already has a good transparency. From your perception, how has that transparency been shown to us? Okay.
I think it's been shown because it's on the pitch. You know, Daniel Levy's never said he's going to spend 200 million on a player, 100 million on a player. It's taken time. Regarding to what the coach said, the Amazon documentary, I think that was a big mistake from Spurs, allowing cameras in, and I wonder how much of that was pre-acted out. I think, you know, I haven't really watched it, but I just thought, you know, a lot of Toby Alderweireld and a couple of other players said it was awkward. Didn't want to, there shouldn't be, you know, cameras inside capturing every moment, and Daniel Levy, but we know why he did it. He did it because he wants to appease the Spurs fans. He want to, you know, that was maybe his way of saying, right, you want to know what happens inside the club, how we operate, so we're going to invite an Amazon crew, and, you know, Spurs fans got to see it.
Yeah.
And
you know, guys, Shane, Dermot, all you guys that have come to the show regularly, Orin's the first time he's come to this show. Okay, he has yet to see what Talk2K is about. I'm extremely irate about the way that we communicate with one another in my show. Okay, my show, not yours, not someone else's. If you don't like it, please, you can come back another day when you're not feeling so agitated or upset, right? Because I have a viewing audience and they couldn't come here to get agitated, right? I am the one that's directing the show. I'm not a host that sits back, throws fuel in the fire and watches people argue with one another. I don't have that. I have a responsibility over my viewers. I care about them much more than anything else. And my viewers do not come here to have a fight. They don't come here to rant and rave. They come here to relax so we can find out and talk to each other and gain insights. Okay? Gain insights. I started off by asking about transparency. I thought it was a yes or no. Orin educated me and said, you know what? There's another element to it. And then another person turned around, educated me more, that there's a lot more gray between the yes and the no. And I value that. We're meant to share that knowledge with each other. Everything else is separate. I don't need an encyclopedic knowledge on something extra because that's not what I'm asking for. And poor Sean, you know, he didn't even get to hear the question properly, didn't know where I was going. And this is the first time he's been on my show, you know, and I didn't appreciate that whatsoever. So please, please, please trust Kay, right? And just relax a little bit, all of you guys, some of you guys, whoever it is.
I was being very quiet and said
Dermot?
nothing.
I've been good too. I've been my best.
brother,
Yeah,
I know.
Colin's been on mute.
I just put myself on mute and just went to get my charger, and I'm being told off. It's like being back at school.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dermot and Colin, you did get to hear this, but unfortunately, Shane, you saw it as well. That it suddenly started to get a little bit out of hand in the comments, outside and inside here, and I don't like.
You nipped it right in the bud, huh?
I'm sorry, but people don't seem to understand at all. If you're listening right now, you don't understand. This is my show. I've made my format very differently. All right, and I will stamp
and
down.
That's why we love it. That's why we love it here.
I know, but
I was agreeing with Mr. Spurs. I was agreeing with Mr. Spurs.
No,
he was saying,
I'm not.
He was saying the Amazon documentary was put out there to raise a profile. Basically, what he was saying was to raise the profile of a club.
Yep.
And I wanted to hear more of that. And
Mr. Mari.
Yeah, I got cut off. And
sorry about that. Sorry, no, I wasn't cutting you off. What I was saying was that I just wanted to get a yes or a no, and then I wanted to move on to the next thing, which was explore within the yes and no. And the thing is that everyone seems to think that they're on some other show. You're not on some other show. You're on Talk2K. And guess who that guy is?
I want to
over here.
I guess if you wanted a 5-second answer, I get that. Like I said, I like to have intellectual talks. That's why I want to meet up with Sean or Orin and be able to talk about these things because people are screaming whatsoever. But I do apologize if it's a
No, Murray, it's okay. Murray, it's okay. It's just that when people take over my show, right? I'm sorry, people do not take over my show. And viewers out there that came to see a fight, you can go away. This is not that type of show.
I wasn't fighting. I was just trying to get his information.
Yeah. No, Murray, you're a lovely fella. Listen, Murray, I love your love lounge. All right, I know what you're like, but you came into the middle of something, and I do see some agitation being expressed, and it's not right. Right? We've got wonderful people here. So the idea is, do we feel that the club communicates with the fans? Does it do it in a fashion that can help the fans at the right time, or does it not? I'm not trying to attribute blame anywhere. I was just thinking, what would you like? What do you desire? I just want your opinion on that aspect. I don't need like 20-year history or something, for crying out loud. You know, this is simple question. And I started off with Orin, you know, and I asked him, he went out, he came back, and I still continued. I tried to present a different alternative perspective from a Manchester United fan who, regardless of whether you look at the financing, yes or no, it doesn't matter. But the perception is that here is a club that spends a lot on players. It doesn't matter they're rich. My point is they do. But from their fans' perspective, they had to argue for someone to fix the roof. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, on the other hand, you got a club that we are part of where they spend a lot of money on the stadium, right? And then the perception is that the fans would like them to spend more money on the players. Now, if people cannot see how opposite these two clubs are, and it's not my fault, okay?
Now, that is so disingenuous what you've just said, man. Honestly, this isn't right. What's being said, it's not.
What the hell am I talking about, Geezer?
You cannot compare us to Manchester United.
I'm not comparing. I'm giving you a perception. I said fans' perception is this.
Not fair.
It may not be fair. The life isn't bloody fair. Listen, Geezer, you're trying to wind me up, man.
I'm not trying to wind you up.
Right? I've already had this agitation from
No, it's not that. Yeah? It's this for the past 10 minutes.
I'm having it, mate. Sorry, viewers. You can time out for yourself. Go chill out for 5 minutes, then come back. Right? Behave yourself. Ali, I do beg your pardon. I'm sorry you had to see all these little kids in the playground arguing. He said, she said, you said, that said. I'm sorry about that. Ali, how are you?
I'm all right. It's getting interesting.
I was going to say, it's good to have you here, though. It's always nice to be in the same team as you.
We have to bring a woman into the show to calm you men down. A bit of testosterone going around. We've all got opinions. We've all got opinions. We've got to listen. We've got to listen to everybody's opinion. That's the most important thing. Ellie, don't start shouting at each other because it's not good. We're all Spurs fans. We all love our club, and we've all got different perspectives on how the club's going. So let's all listen to one another, lads.
I will be honest. I'm gonna step away because I really feel offended.
I'm sorry you feel that way. Right, I'm going to turn around. I'm not going to turn around. Guys, you know what it is, right? Yeah, you know what it is. I didn't create this show for people to get upset and angry, to feel offended, right? If you think I'm that way, then you wouldn't have been here in the first place. So if you believe that, if you can make those two connections, I'm sorry you feel that way, right? That's just, it is what it is, right? Well, I'm sorry right now. Okay, I'm just going to take this quick super chat and then get back into the people that did come here for Talk2K. All right, Crocodile is saying, pick up Mr. K. No one will ever get the point from the soapbox to the people if discourse always breaks down in frustration and arguing. I thank you from the bottom of your heart to bring that to me. Crocodile has been seeing my show for a very long time, including some of you guys here. You know the format of my show. You know the type of things that I do. I do not tolerate people turning around and start talking to one another willy-nilly for no reason whatsoever, just because they got a chip on their shoulder or they got something angry about each other. That's not what Culture Share is about. You can do that on other shows, not this show. I'm sorry about that. Okay, Crocodiles, I really do appreciate it.
Very well said.
Look, I'm going to try one more time. Okay, Ellie, you've been in this club for a very long time. You were a professional football. You were a professional football player who played for the ladies' team. So, what's your perception on the club in terms of history, on how it's communicated with the fans about its intentions, or how it's been like, this transparency we're talking about nowadays? do you feel that the club's always tried its best to communicate with the club, or do you think that it's always been stuck in a position where it can't? I mean, what's your perception, too, Pence, on this?
Well, if you look at it, right, that documentary showed you a lot of what's wrong with the club, okay, and also all the wranglings in the dressing room, and the fact that Levy sacked his press officer, that tells you something. And they're not transparent with the fans because we're left in the dark on a lot of things, and they tell us lies. They tell us that we're going to get signings, that Conte's going to be backed, and he's not. We can see it. And you can see how Conte was when he first came in. He was all smiles, looked fresh. Now he's looking like grey, and he's looking like a done-in man. Like he's come in on these promises, and they're not going to deliver on these promises. I'm with Daigle on that one because he knows he's at the training ground every single day, more or less, arguing the point that Levy should leave. But he's not going to leave. He won't leave. He won't leave.
Guys, you all know, right, yeah, that sometimes we will get a bit heated up. We will get the wrong end of the stick with each other. And I always I'm chucking the link back out there because I want Stelios to come back. Yeah, because we all got love for one another. Honestly, do. You know, Mari's Love Lounge, right, yeah, it's like, I love the fella, but I think he got the wrong end of the stick. What happened, right, yeah, is I'm in the middle of talking to someone. I'm in the middle of talking to you guys. And he's talking to someone else while I'm talking. And that's rude. And if he thinks I'm disrespecting him, I'm sorry he thinks that way. But I had to create order. And that means that if I'm turning to the baddie, then I have to do so. Right? I'm sorry. But I have a viewing audience.
You can never be a baddie, Mr. K.
But it is. It went sideways a little bit when certain elements and certain people started to put it that way. They didn't understand what I was trying to say to them. Okay, so viewing audience, I do apologize if it didn't come across that way. And you know what it is? Some of the people that have come here, they've come here for the first time, and it almost looks like something else. And I don't want them to see that at all. It embarrasses me, right? And the viewing audience out there, there's people that have come into this stream that have never been here before. You know, I'd like to big them up as well, but I'm not going to get the opportunity to do so. I mean, some of them don't understand me at all. They're turning around thinking that I'm being some sort of dictator. Some of them will say this, some of them will say that. I'm very sorry you feel that way. You should check out our other content. But this concept of the club communicating with us, I think this has always been the biggest problem in terms of like how the fans feel. Orin is of the opinion that we do get adequate amounts of communication, and sometimes we may have done the wrong thing with the Amazon perception. Tom, your club, what's the transparency like in your club when it comes to the fans?
Well, we've had the owners since 2006, around about that time. We had no confrontation until 4 months ago. When they and do you know the best thing about it, Mr. K? Do you know what it was? Have a guess how they confronted fans about it. They lined up 10 fans on Zoom. That's how they did it. 10 fans on Zoom. No, and that's apparently transparency. 10 fans on Zoom to ask 10 different questions, and then you put out a notice on the club website to say, "Oh, we're setting up this club advisory board where we're getting 10 spectators on the board who aren't being named, so you haven't got a clue who they are. It could all be a conspiracy, and it could all be made up for anybody knows." And like you've just said with stuff with the Amazon documentary and stuff, if you're seriously telling me that there wasn't some parts of that was put into place, then I'm sorry. Like, there's the quote that Daniel even made, there's 2 coaches out there. One of them's at another Premier League club, and the other best coach out there is Jose Mourinho. I mean, academically, yeah, in terms of the trophies and accolades, but and the quotes that you come out with where you make the points with not signing Eriksen up on contracts and developing further storylines and points just to build up the drama and build up the viewership. The reason why people were viewing that wasn't suddenly miraculously start supporting Tottenham or fund Tottenham. They were viewing it for entertainment purposes. And this is why people think, oh, well, everybody was just having a laugh at Tottenham.
Right. Tom, you know what? I think there's an awful lot of stuff that's going on which is overspilling into my show. Okay, and there's a lot of people that are coming in, they don't understand what on earth my show is about, and they see a bunch of people arguing, and they see me being a draconian leader. And I think to myself, there's people out there that come in on a regular basis, right? Yeah, and they turn around and they know what I'm trying to do. Okay, when I turn around, if say for example, you guys here, for example, right? Yeah, let me explain something to you. I want to explain something. God, you guys don't understand this. I see it every single stream. There's what 7 or 8 of us here. I'm going to ask one question to Shane,
8 of us.
and he's going to talk about it for ages. Then I'm going to ask that question to Orin. He's going to talk about it for ages. By the time it gets to Colin, it's like 20 minutes have gone by. And then people start talking over each other and start arguing with each other by the time I get to the 4th or 5th or 6th and 7th. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get people to give me a yes or no answer so I know where they stand and what they feel. And obviously the first person, when I got to Orin, he said, you know what, there's actually a third answer. Right? And when I got to another person, he said, you know what, there's actually a fourth answer.
Yeah.
This is how we learn. But I'm not here. Sorry, what's that comment over here? People think that no, you know what, Bryce? I'm sorry, Bryce. All right? There's a comment made, right, yeah, that differences of opinion, right? Difference of opinion, right? There you go. That one there. The Portugueser. I appreciate emotions are high and things can get a little out of hand, but it's good to have opposing views debate as long as we keep it in cordial. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
There's no debate. This is not a debating show. Right? How many of you guys have been here before? Hands up. Right? All of you guys, hands up.
Yeah.
Come on.
I've not got a camera, but my hands up.
Right.
This is my first time on the show.
Okay, thank you. But you've seen the show, right?
Yeah.
Is my show a debating show?
Mr. K?
No.
No. So let me go back here.
Mr. K?
I'm sorry, Portugueser. I'm sorry you feel that way. But we're not here to argue with one another.
Mr.
That's not my show. Go on. Please do.
Can I just make one recommendation?
Please, go ahead.
Let's forget about all being apologising to everyone. Let's forget about focusing on the comments where people are a bit upset. Let's just get one topic going and let's just discuss it. Otherwise, we're going to end up spending...
You know what?
To help the show.
No, I've had enough now. I'm sorry.
No, just to help the show.
I've had enough because now people are telling me how to do my show. All right. Listen, guys, I'm going to kill the stream. Right. But before I do so, I want to thank all the viewing audience out there.
That's a shame.
Right. Docs over here, right? Yeah, his super chat is basically, it will be interesting to see how the Arsenal fans react to their own Amazon documentary considering their season so far. Viewing audience, listen, I do my show in a very unique way, in a very special way. And sometimes people turn around and try to hijack my show for their own feelings, for how they are. And I understand how the feelings can be high. I can understand the passion that's out there. I am trying to gain knowledge from one another because as a fan base, we all love our club.
We do.
That's the number one thing. We want the best for our club. That's what it means to be a fan. We have opposing views of how that should be done. And maybe there's healthy debate that we can have.
Keep your show going. Let me leave. Let me go and just keep your show running, brother.
No,
don't shut the show down. Don't shut it down.
At all. It's not that at all, brother.
No.
If I don't have the heart for it,
that's terrible.
I don't care. I don't have the heart for it.
No, you do. You do.
Come on, Mr. K.
You do, man.
Have the heart, man.
There's so many people that have come to the stream that have not been there before, and they think it's a debate show. They think it's an argue show. They think that people over there are going to be able to debate cordially with each other. Trust me, people who think one thing and people who think the other cannot debate with each other.
But
they will argue with one another.
Emotions are running high at Tottenham Hotspur. That's why.
That's why you come to Talk2K. My show is meant to calm people down. All right?
All right, fine.
And
the only way calm, run the show.
People can only obtain calmness if someone directs it. All right? I am the director. It's my show. I direct it. Okay? Now, if people trust me, if people respect me, sorry, Steve, I do value what you say, and maybe I will listen to you. I'll probably go for the full 2 hours and then close the show. Thank you, Estelle. I appreciate the love. All right? And viewing audience, I know you appreciate the love too. But I will not have what I've seen today.
Yeah.
I won't have it. I will not have it. My show is, if people come into my show thinking that they're going to see something else, I'm sorry, they're mistaken. That's not what my show is about.
Mr. K, I like that I'm looking at Christian Eriksen talking ball. He's an Eriksen lookalike. Come on,
you,
Mr.
You do say, honestly,
I'll take that.
Also, I want to say, Mr. K, it's lovely you've brought a Man United fan on, and can I say welcome him to our Spurs show.
It's
and fair
lovely.
play to him for coming on. And I take my hat off to you, sir.
You know what? He's come on a number of
Cheers,
times. Tom's turning into a bit of a regular sort of thing on us. And the only reason why I welcome all different types of fans on my show is not to banter with them, but to gain information from them about their club and how they see our club from where they are, so that we can learn. Because we live inside goldfish bowls too much, and we live inside echo chambers too much. And we've forgotten how to respect someone else's opinion when we feel so much passion. On my day, someone had just thrown in a super chat. Tahir Khan, welcome to the show. He says, K Saib, he's talking to me. He says, Mr. K Saib, Chelsea fan here. On my days, a Chelsea fan has thrown in a $20 super chat into my show. I don't even know what I've done to even deserve that. I'm not even joking. Problem is, owners all have different agendas. Roman wants to win. City wants to be the best. Levy wants to make money. The Premier League needs two owners better. Better. Really enjoy your show. Please continue.
Agreed.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it's true.
I agree. Chelsea fan. I didn't think I'd like a Chelsea fan, but I quite like him.
It's the bit at the end where it's the bit at the end where he turns around and says, "Please continue."
I think you should, Mr. K.
Chelsea fans feel sorry for us nowadays. They actually feel sorry for us. That's how bad it is.
Oren, you see this, don't you? You see the negative. You see this type of thing tearing the fan base apart. It's one of the reasons why you came onto my show from Tommy's show. Yeah, that discussion we were having on Tommy's show, you can feel that being carried over to here. Can you not? You can see that. Now, if we can't communicate with one another and learn from one another, right, in a civil manner, then we are forever to repeat the same cycle of hate, division, and getting nowhere. Oren, you think that the club has been transparent enough with us? A lot of the fans will feel that they don't know enough about what's going on with the club. Is it a mistake for fans to think that they should know more about the things that go on in the club because maybe those things are meant to be kept secret?
Yeah. That's the
Bingo.
answer. Yeah.
Like the Americano says, Mr. K, I think you just need to accept things don't always go to plan on live streams, and it's okay. Thank you. It's all good. Progress is better than perfection. Never too late to get back on track. Thank you very much. Honestly, I feel humbled. I feel humbled by you guys, including you, Stel. I feel humbled by what you guys are saying. Honestly,
including you, Stel. I love that.
No, because you did. Honestly,
No, I'm laughing in a good way. I'm laughing in a good way.
I know exactly what you're saying. Look, we are one Spurs family. Thank you, Americana. We are one Spurs family, and if people have forgotten that, I'm sorry that they've forgotten it. We shouldn't look at each other and have this animosity that's built up. That's a vape, by the way, in case you're hearing that sound. It's Colin.
Sorry. I thought it was quiet enough. That's my fault.
Okay. Listen, guys, I'm going to get back on track now. Sorry, guys. My focus is back. Dermot.
Yes, sir.
I never got to ask you about the transparency. Did I ask you, or have I forgotten about?
You did, but yeah.
If that's the case, then I'm going to go back to Shane because I feel that I did not give him enough time at the beginning. Okay, I don't think Shane understood that I was trying to get a yes or a no answer, so he felt bad that I'd cut him off. And the statement about giving someone 10 seconds to give an answer or to try to put a debate or a point of view is not about point of view. It's just, listen, I'm trying to get everything with everyone, and I'm trying to know where to go, and the viewing audience can learn from this. Shane, transparency. You said that we don't have enough transparency.
I said that people don't want total transparency. I think total transparency can be dangerous. I'm just a little bit rocked at the moment.
I noticed that. I do beg your
Shane,
pardon.
Shane, do you think that the problem isn't so much total transparency, but the lack of accountability for the transparency given? For example, we had a chairman who in the summer said to us in a statement published on the Spurs website, we want to bring back the flowing football, the there is to do style of Tottenham. And then we went through 8 different managers with 8 different ways of playing, and we ended up with a manager that wasn't what the statement that Daniel Levy gave us. So we got transparency, but when what we get is the opposite, it's the lack of accountability. Don't you think that's more the issue? Or have I got that one wrong?
Okay.
I think that's a little bit wrong. It's not totally wrong. You've got to look at my point of view. This is only my point of view. I will caveat that. Is that if we know every single detail about the club, we're going to get bogged down in information. We don't need to know that they spent $100 million on toilet paper over the last 10,000 years.
That's funny.
You know, we can get bogged down into little bits of information where, yes.
Is that what Sean was saying, though, Shane? Sean was saying that when the financial records came out, they're like 95 pages long, full of loads and loads of details that do get published, and the vast majority of fans just don't read them. I think Oren was trying to allude to that point where he's saying that enough information does come out, we just don't bother looking at it. Oren, am I right, or I put words in your mouth?
Kind of put words in my mouth, a little
Please
bit,
do.
but it's all right. I think fans think they're entitled to know everything about Spurs, and it's a business. If I came to your house, Mr. Ken says, right, I want you to tell me everything about you because I'm a fan of you, would you give me every single detail of what you do in your house?
No, I think you'd be out the door.
Right. So therefore, I understand. I'm not just speaking about Spurs fan. I think we live in a generation where we think we're entitled to know everything about him. And the only way that Daniel Levy can ever suss us out is to just every month give a Spurs fan a month of the job. You take the job for a month. You experience what it's like to go through. You go ahead. Because no matter what he says, no matter what he does, all I care about is, will Spurs get top 4? Will they win trophies? That's all we care about. And so far, like I said, I've supported Spurs since I was 9. Coming from 14th to talking about a top 14, that's all been due to the investments that Daniel Levy's done. And Spurs aren't going to go bankrupt anytime soon, like Leeds or Newcastle. So, yeah, that's my thoughts.
Can I say something on that?
Yeah, please do. Please do.
I care not only to win trophies, I personally care that we play with style, we play with hearts, and we give everything on the pitch, which we're not getting at the moment. That's what I care about. It's obviously along the way, if we win trophies, that's the creme de la creme, but there's other teams out there trying to win the trophies as well, who are more equipped to win them. So if we win in style, and if we don't win in style, that's what I want to see. Because if we give it all and we don't win, then we've given it all. If we don't give it all, it's just. I want to play the type of football that I grew up with, and giving it all on pitch. Like, I don't know if you watched Tottenham Tantrum Gold when Steve Perryman was on. There's a player who gave his all for Spurs. We haven't got one player on that pitch apart from maybe Harry Kane, and that's it, and Sonny.
Ellie, whose fault is that? Would you say?
Well, I would say the players, because whatever manager we brought in, still the players are not giving it. For any of the managers, we've got Conte, and they're still not giving it.
We brought in Romero, he was giving it. We brought in Brian Hill. Whenever I see him play, he gives us 100%. So
there's certain but not enough of them.
Guys, you know what it is? We've had viewers come in, right? Yeah, and they've not come to the show before. They're coming in. Some of them are saying, "Who am I? Who's Mr. K?" it's my show and they're coming onto my show and asking who I am. And I do respect that they came onto my show to have a look. They don't know who I am. We don't get an opportunity to say that. Look, guys, this situation has spilled so much into our Spurs fan base, this animosity. Today, I lost my cool. Okay. I just cannot stand people taking over and hijacking my show, right? Because I have a responsibility to that viewing audience that we have built a relationship together for a long time. Okay. They've been here for a very long time, helping me build this particular content and a particular style, a particular format. And I do apologize to people out there that I've lost my cool. But, you know, at the end of the day, I will not tolerate. I have a zero tolerance right here.
You're only human, Mr. K.
I mean, when I chuck people
You're
out,
only human.
I do let them back in again. And the thing is that someone like, for example, Mari, I didn't mean to like cut him off, but I'm human, and as Ali says, and I will get annoyed. I'm trying to say something, and then I'm hearing people talking to each other. I'm thinking, you guys, talk in the chat. You got a private chat right there. There's a button right there. You can talk to each other. You don't have to be doing it right live, okay? It's like that's the most rudest thing I can think of, where I come to your show, and I'm telling you, I don't care what you say. I'm going to start going into your kitchen. I want to move you out the way so that I can make myself a cup of tea, and you're boiling water to put in to make rice. I think that was Orin's example that was given. So that's where I turned around and had enough. Okay. So I apologize that you guys, you know, got agitated. And if Mari, you're watching, I do love you, mate. Don't worry. But I do wanted to get this thing about transparency done, but I wanted to do it layer by layer and also find out maybe there's some more information. But we're not here to attribute blame to each other or to the upper management or to so-and-so. We're here to find out what we feel and whether something can be better. You know, that's all it is. If you're going to say one thing and then connect it to 20 years of hurt, this, that, and the other, it's like I done that rant the other day. This is not a rant show. It's a rant channel, but not a rant show. I do beg your pardon. Colin, you're one of the people that have sat here very, very politely and hasn't said a word. And the reason why, because you're an incredibly polite person. Colin, you're muted right now. I'm going to unmute you.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah, no.
Okay. You've got the perception of looking at this from America. You've got lots of American-style football clubs over there. Are those clubs as transparent as ours? Do you feel that maybe our club could be more transparent in how it does things? What's your 2 pence on this?
It's really hard for me to say. Yeah, I think a lot of the organizations, especially around me, we've got a lot of you know, there's teams, but they're pro teams, but it's not. I mean, it's not to the level of the Premier League. There's not as much money involved, and I think due to that, maybe there's more transparency for us and some of the teams that we have here. But yeah, I mean, as Spurs cannot afford, I don't think, to be completely transparent with everything. If everybody knows how their finances are, everyone knows how much money they have to spend on players, then that information is obviously going to be used against us. And so I think, yeah, there can be some more transparency, but it obviously has to be planned out, and the info has to be given to us kind of strategically and not too much at once. So, you know, I just see how that could hamstring the team with us knowing, with the general public knowing too much. I think we need to know like the direction everything's going, and but yeah, there's some stuff that obviously that they can't disclose. I mean, do you agree?
I think, you know what, the actual chat's gone absolutely mad. The part of the format of my show is to be looking at what the viewers are saying. That's my format, and I agree that right now it's like, look, this situation, Mari, if it has to be done, I do apologize. I think there are circumstances as to why I did things. Look, this whole thing is hijacked my show, okay? And basically, I think today, right, yeah, there must have been an awful lot of things that have been happening in our club, right, which have really taken over. And it spilled over to my show. And to tell you the truth, I've come to the end of my tether when it comes to certain things. I perceive things in a certain fashion. I design things in a certain fashion. And I put it together when I get onto the show. And what I saw was people that became agitated with one another, from the moment of just looking at each other, and as soon as somebody turned around and started speaking to one another, they started to get agitated even more. And what they did was they stopped listening to the host. And as Jason Groves often says, he goes, all I care about is the chairman giving us a fighting chance on the pitch. Jason, welcome to the stream.
Hello. I was just about to come on and say, read my goddamn super chat.
I've done that, mate. You're welcome to come on at any time, mate, and tell me that. You don't have to come on and do it. Listen, geezer.
Yeah, look,
Jason,
I don't think the whole organisation needs to be 100% transparent. That's not the way any business is run. Not that I know F all about running businesses. But I just think the chairman needs to be transparent with his intentions so that he can be held accountable when he doesn't live up to those intentions. That's my gripe.
Jason?
Yes, sir.
I asked that question earlier on. Is the problem transparency or the lack of accountability for the transparency? The issue is, who holds him account? It's the fans. And if we don't take action, then there is no accountability. So how else do we hold him accountable then, if it's not the fans that do it?
Well, it has to be us. In terms of football on the pitch, obviously. Like, when it comes to football on the pitch, we're the ones that would hold him accountable. Because in terms of, like, him being the chairman of a business, they're happy with what he's doing, I would assume, because he's making money. But, like, do you know what I mean?
I think Conte is making the players accountable because, look, he's seen Delhi with TikTok. He's heard that, obviously. It's all around. And then he's seen Ndombele and he's made him train on his own. Like he threw a strop going down the tunnel. So he's making the players accountable, which is a start.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Right. I mean, here's a perception from an alternative club. Tahir Khan put super chat in it saying, as a Chelsea fan, I don't need transparency. To me, it's about trust. Right. So if somebody got some background static, please put yourself on mute if possible. To me, it's about trust. Do you, as a fan, trust your owner to uphold the club's expectations?
Spot on. Great super chat. Brilliant super chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Facts.
You know, I think... Go on, please.
Sorry, Mr. K, I just got to leave. I sent you a private message. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem at all. Dermot, thank you very much. I know you got things to deal with in the back.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. Please do come on again.
Nice to meet you, Dermot.
Yeah, you too. Nice to meet everyone. And please, you're all welcome onto the channel anytime. So thank you very much. And
wonderful.
I don't know why I can't see you and I'm waving. So that was pointless.
Well, we're waving back. Have a good one, my friend.
Yeah, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Guys, I do beg your pardon. It's got to 2 hours, and basically that's normally the end of my show. And this particular subject may have been something maybe I might have started at the very beginning of the show and had many more people to come in, and we would have had longer time to debate about this. But when you only have 1 hour, when you've got everyone in here, it's not about that. It's not about the debate. It's about me trying to get information, me trying to get a viewpoint, and then trying to weave it together for the narrative. Oren, I brought you in some time ago, and you've gone back out and come back in. This wasn't really meant to be too much of a debate, outside of it. But I think that's Jason probably in the kitchen. Okay, Oren, I need to stop the show and stop it in 2 hours. Do you have a channel somewhere that people can find you on, or is it just Twitter?
No, it's I have a YouTube channel called Ornereal. I just recently changed it today. I talk about in-depth Spurs tactics, and basically go deeper into everything at Spurs. Not just, I don't rant, I don't blame managers or owners. I just look at what is actually happening and try and get the positive from Spurs performance, win or lose or draw. So it's Ornereal.
It's awesome.
Awesome. Normally, guys, I will have the back studio available and open to all of you guys for quick chatting and so on. Okay. So I'll start putting you one at a time in there, if you don't mind, because we got to the end of the show. Ali, do you have a show coming out at all in any time soon?
I'm trying, but it's hard because I had COVID, and that blew me out really, and I'm just recovering. So maybe in the next week or two, I'll be okay to do it because Phil's going to help me, or Phil Latisse. He's going to help me with that. Yeah, it's going to be called Queen Ellie of the Lane.
Oh, hey, that's right, that one again. Listen, hang around the back studio. I will be having a chat with everyone that stays.
I will.
There, okay? Thank you. Jason, you're still on mute. What are you doing in the kitchen, mate?
No, I'm not on mute.
Oh, okay.
You wouldn't. My dog was literally barking then. You wouldn't hear it because I use a program that actually takes all noise out but my voice.
Yeah.
Like, my kids could be playing a trombone. You wouldn't hear it. So any noise you get is not me. Do I have a channel? No. Do I have social media? No. Do I have
you're always here.
No. But
You'll be here.
I pop up.
You pop up. Listen, hang around the back studio. Quick 2 minutes, okay? Stel, you have an amazing channel. When is your next show?
Next Monday we're going to be live from the protest, if protesting is your thing. If not, then it's not for you. Otherwise, I'm on Paxton Road's show tomorrow with Iggy. We're doing a joint show with them. And everyone subscribe and like to the Mr. K show, the WillStewartTHFCRants channel, and big up everyone in the show tonight.
Thank you very much. Please do hang around. I'll be talking to you too. Shane.
Yes, Mike.
Shane, look, I didn't mean to cut you off when you first started talking. It's just that when one person starts talking, goes into long one, then the next person thinks they're going to talk even longer. The third person goes even longer. I just wanted to get the initial opinion, then go into the second level and the third level and fourth level. And basically, I think there was an issue that popped up earlier. People didn't understand what it was. Unfortunately, you were caught in the middle of it. So Shane, I do understand that basically you do pop into our channel. You also pop into many other channels. Do you have any plans to pop into your own channel?
Not at this stage.
Not at this stage. Shane,
just health reasons, and mental health reasons. I just can't at the moment. I'll just be a little bit of a floozy and pop into different shows here, there, and everywhere.
Well, it's always a pleasure. I'm sorry that today was kind of mad a little bit, tell you the truth, and I'm sorry you got caught in the middle of it, especially by me. Okay, all right, Shane, let's hang around the back. I'll be really good, okay. Dude, you know what, Colin? I love the fact that you came on the show, man. I'm so grateful, man. Honestly, I'm gonna finish the show with you and Miza. Honestly, Colin. Oh my days, Colin. I'm so happy to see you. You know, I think there's a lot of people out there. He goes, Mr. K, I am a sensitive person who ruminates. You know what? I learned that rumination word. I know what that means. It means overthinking and so forth. Over that, more catastrophic in my head than it really is. And you're right. I was like that today.
We all get like that.
Yeah. But you got your show. And when's your next channel? When's your next show coming out? Talk more.
Actually, we've got a show. Tiago and I, my co-host, have a show this coming Thursday. So is that tomorrow already? Is today Wednesday?
Yeah, it is indeed. We've got to that stage.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep,
so I'm going to quickly do a little bit of an outro and then call it a day for the timing. And apologies to viewers out there that did feel a little bit offended. Maybe you thought I was being a bit too harsh. Especially with Mari, I do apologize for that. I think he just got caught in the prison. But the one person I'd like to apologize more than anyone else that came into the stream was Sean. Sean, if you do see this, many apologies. It was never meant to be in any way negative towards you, okay? And I know that sometimes other people in the stream that came in might have tricked you off and took the subject sideways, and it wasn't my intention for what it's meant to be. So many apologies there. The rest of you viewers out there, please do. I'm going to play this one over here first. Because I think that everyone loves this one a lot more than anything else.
I got broads in Atlanta, just to me in the family. Credit cards and the scammers, getting no list in the bank.